Get out of the light. Like Michael said, my name is Jennifer. I feel like I met quite a few of your faces in the last year, so it's wonderful that you guys are having me back. Last year, we kind of talked about profit first. Today, we're going to dive back into that concept. This is a really good time to have this refresher because realtors had a really rough 2025, most of them. I know some that had a really great year. However, we want to talk about how you can actually build consistent income in an inconsistent industry. That is super important. We want to get you off that roller coaster. So as Michael said, I am Jennifer. I'm a certified bookkeeper, president of the Profitable Agent. I also am a real estate investor, so I'm very much the kind of person that will put their money where their mouth is. I would never advise you guys to do something if it wasn't something I would do as well. So most realtors live deal to deal. We all know this roller coaster of, hey, I'm doing great, right? So right now it's like, who feels great on commission day? You got 20 grand deposited in your account? Hell yeah, right? But then what happens next week? We're a dumpster fire. We're stressed out. We don't know where the money's coming from. We either take too much money out of our real estate business to support our personal life. We forget about taxes, so we ignore CRA until we get audited, that kind of stuff. So we're going to talk about why budgeting does not work. I have tried to do this in my personal life. Budgeting sucks. You end up like spending way too much money. You think you're going to spend only a certain amount, and it's way too complicated. Today is not about spreadsheets or anything like that. We're going to talk about why it doesn't work. Again, budgets expect the same pay. So if you're a salaried employee, budgeting can absolutely work because you know every 2 weeks you get the same amount of money deposited in your checking account. As a realtor, that's not the case, right? Like we said, we have those highs, we have those lows. Realtors, again, get paid in chunks. So you might have had a fantastic November or December, but come January or February, maybe it's not, right? So that's another reason why budgeting doesn't work. And this creates a feast or famine behavior. And we want you guys, again, to get out of that mindset, away from that. This is not about like shaming past choices or having you guys like think, oh my gosh, like need to file CRA. It's about making better choices starting today. And that is about having multiple bank accounts or having like jars, buckets, like I talk about in my videos. So I'm going to ask you guys, what's your biggest financial challenge right now?
Not having jars.
Right? Taking that cash out of the bank account and putting it in those jars and granny's old envelope system. So do you operate, how many checking accounts do you have or how many savings accounts?
So I have the correct business account where the income goes in. And I think I have two other checkings.
Awesome. Do you have any savings accounts there to save for taxes, that kind of stuff?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Just put it that way.
Okay, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I think the fact that you're a prep already helps set you aside because when you're a sole proprietor, you spend a lot more on personal income tax. But that's another conversation for another day. If you guys are interested in talking about sole proprietor versus prep, we can have that conversation. I'm sure Michael can help you with that as well.
I also struggle with knowing where the money goes.
Yes.
Every time I look at the bank account, like where did XYZ dollars go?
Right? It's
insane.
You can it's funny how you can look at like your credit card account and go, yep. And then the bottom dollar, you're like, no, not at all. Like, where, what? Like, I know I'm guilty of doing that in the past as well. Sorry, I don't know how to get this past this next one. It's frozen. Just hanging like.
We can talk more about financial challenges.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, how many years have you guys all been in business? Or are there any new realtors here in the first like 2 years? Awesome. So how many bank accounts do you have?
I'm a sole proprietor, so I have like a savings and checking business now.
Okay.
And I have savings and checking for my personal.
And so does your commission checks get put in the business account? I love you already. That's fantastic. Do you know how many agents are so guilty of having their commission checks go into the same account that their mortgage payment, their car payment comes out of? So congratulations on already setting yourself aside. Again, I know this might sound like a weird concept, guys, but I promise you that having multiple bank accounts actually works. Okay, let's get past that. Realtors getting hit in chunks. Feast or famine. Biggest challenge. All right. Today, we're going to talk about two real estate agents. We're going to meet Sally on the left and Eric on the right. So we have two realtors, same income. They both earn about $150,000 a year. But because of the way that they manage their money, they have very different outcomes. So Sally deposits commission into the same bank account as her personal expenses. So again, there's no line of separation there. She also pays her business expenses from the same account. So again, we're muddling a lot here. We don't know what's business and what's personal until at the end of the year when she has to, oh my gosh, go through all those bank statements and credit card statements, right? So she hopes there's enough left at the end of the year for taxes. Who here puts money aside for their taxes in a separate account? Okay, who here hopes that they have enough money? At least we're being honest here. It's okay. And again, this is not about shame or guilt, guys. This is not about telling you like you're bad. It has nothing to do with you and your habits. It's the system that you're using is not working for you and why Profit First actually does work. Here we meet Eric. He again earns the same amount as Sally, so about $150,000 a year. However, he separates his bank accounts from his personal accounts. He also uses Profit First in his business. So that's where we talked about money buckets in that little promo video. We also call them envelopes or that kind of stuff. It's all about having multiple accounts. Brady's old envelope system, whatever you want to look at it as. He also has money set aside for taxes. Again, because he has Profit First, he actually separates out all of his income by percentage. So we're going to talk about Profit First and why it actually works for real estate agents. I remember growing up in my 20s, I actually had a friend of mine who separated all of her income. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you have like 18 bank accounts, Donnie? You're crazy. And she was like, Jen, I promise you, I know where my mortgage is being paid from. I know where my car payment's being paid from. She even had like a separate, we'll call it wine alternative budget for those of you that know what that means. So it wasn't until 6 years ago where I actually found this concept. I was $20,000 in credit card debt. For those of you that remember me talking about this, like I literally threw thousands of dollars on my credit card every month and it never made a single freaking bit of difference. At the end of the month, I still somehow ended up owing more on my credit card bill than before. And so I adopted Profit First about 6 years ago. Within a year and a half, I paid off the debt. I saved enough money to buy my first rental property, and I took my mom and my son to Italy and Switzerland for 6 weeks back in 2022, and we're going back for a month in August. I can't freaking wait. So, oh, sorry, we didn't talk about income. So this is, darn it, whatever. Income was the first one. That is where your money comes into. So that's where your commission deposit is going to get deposited. Sorry, your commission is going to get deposited. I said that too much. So that would be a regular checking account. Your next bucket number 2, is going to be for profit. So I don't know why it's doing the transition. Sorry, guys. Bucket number 3 is super important. Owner's pay. This is how much can your business actually afford to pay you as the owner. So quick and easy without going too far into the weeds with percentages. If you are a sole proprietor or prep, if you are earning $250,000 or below, your business can support you by paying up to 50% of your income. If you are taking more than that, you are not leaving enough money in your business to actually help propel growth in your real estate business. I have seen agents who earn $1 million a year and spend $1.5 million. Okay, and a lot of that, like 800,000, is taken out for personal life because of the house and cars, and all those fun stuff. So I promise you, paying attention to these percentages is super important. That is bucket number 3 or bank account number 3. Bucket number 4 is taxes. Again, we talked about the fact that, CRA comes knocking every year. I don't know if you know this, but in 2024 and 2025, they hired an extra 200 agents just to audit you guys, just for you, because there's so many realtors who don't file their taxes, who wait years and years and years to get audited before they actually do anything about it. They also, I'm not even going to go into it. You guys have some interesting habits. Let's just say that, okay? And that's okay. But bucket number 4 is very specific for taxes. So this is corporate tax, this is personal tax. This helps you save so that you're not in fear of filing your taxes with CRA. You actually can go ahead and be proud of the fact that you have this money set aside. You don't need to rob your business of all its money in order to claim a loss so you don't have to actually pay CRA. Bucket number 5, again, guys, I have 13, so this is just a start. And most of these are savings accounts. Number 5 is your operating expenses. So this would be your staging, your post-folding, your dues, anything that you typically spend in an average day is mostly going to come from here, okay?
I have questions.
Add it, Michael. You did last time too, let's go.
One question is, why is that one the last one?
Why is bucket number 5 the last one? Yeah, so the old accounting method is sales minus expenses is profit. So typically you would, if you're working with a professional and you get a set of financials, your profit is that last line on your income statement to tell you how much money you should have made. And you often go, wow, I made money. And then you look at your bank account and you go, where the hell did that money go? Right? And so what we do in Profit First is we prioritize taking the profit first and then basically living off the rest, similar to like taking your RRSPs, right? They automatically get deducted from your account and saved for you. So this shows you how much your business can actually afford to pay out in expenses. Did I answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome.
Is it like a green light, red light type of thing where you figure out how much you can have for expenses depending on your income?
Yeah, absolutely. So the nice thing is if you guys, I didn't want to get too far into the weeds with numbers today, but the nice thing is the Profit First book has all income levels right from 0 to $50 million a year. So what they did when they researched this book is they looked at the top 100 most fiscally elite North American companies and what those percentages were. And so that's kind of where we get the basis from. So again, if you're an agent earning under $250K a year or around, your business can support paying you. So typically we do 5% profit, 15% tax, 50% owner's pay, and 30% operating expense. In Canada, keep in mind this is American. So in Canada, I slightly adjust those percentages based on my clients and based on their specific needs. But those are like your benchmarks for where to get and where to land in a healthy way. I have seen agents, again, who earn $1 million a year who spend $1.5 million. So please take note that whatever your money habits are, there's always somebody out there who's worse off, who has worse habits. And so that's where we actually start to look at your money every single week, just so that you have a familiarity with it, you understand where your money is flowing, and you don't feel the stress of like, oh my gosh, my financials say this, however my bank account says that, right? We make decisions based on the money in those actual bank accounts, if that makes sense. Yeah, awesome. So why Profit First for Realtors works? Again, it pays you first, not last. So we want you guys to still take money out to pay your mortgage, to do the fun vacations with your families. This is not about shaming. This is not about having to cut out those, maybe impulse Amazon purchases. This is just so that you can leave enough money in your business to actually continue to grow it. It also helps you avoid tax time panic. So I know a lot of realtors, you guys, if you're sole proprietors, you don't actually owe your taxes until June. And I know so many realtors who bury their head in the sand until June 1st and then call me crying going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, right? Even if you are a CREC and you have a year end, let's say at December 31st, you still owe tax by the end of March. And so it really helps avoid those stressors, those highs and lows. Like for example, I had to pay my HST quarterly yesterday. It was $3,000. Normally I'd be like, you know what I mean? But like having that money set aside, I'm very comfortable knowing that I can pull that money and I know that I still am able to pay my staff and pay my operating expenses every single week. It also helps you build real financial stability. On average, when clients work with us, we within a year can help them raise their profits about 48%. We help you decrease your operating expenses by up to 60%. And those are just like average results. Some people are worse, some people are better. It really just depends. But that's over the course of, we've done about 50 implementations now with clients over the years. And over that, those are our average results. So take it with a grain of salt that you absolutely can see your money go a lot further when you get intentional with it.
Quick question.
Yes.
So you work with a lot of realtors.
I do.
Which percentage of realtors actually when they get the HST, they put it in another account and get it ready to be sent.
That's a great question.
Because most people are like, hey, I'm gonna do this later.
Yes, so there are a handful of realtors out there that absolutely will have the brokerage hold their HST for them. If I don't know if your brokerage does that here, Michael, because I think every brokerage is very different. So some realtors do that, so they automatically don't get the money put in their account. But I'm gonna say less than 5% of people that I've worked with start off with saving their HST and their taxes. Most agents, if they get the HST on their commission, they spend that right away. And they just hope, again, that this is where they look to bleed their company of all the profits so that they can claim a loss, so they don't have to file and pay taxes. And we're here to help you guys change your mindset around that today. All right, oh, I skipped ahead somehow. Okay, Sally just got a $20,000 commission check. She feels rich and shows she spends like it. I know if I had 20 grand in one account right now, my trip to Italy would have already been paid and I probably would be going on a cruise or something like that. Although, I'm trying to boycott America like a lot of people, but still, I would still be going away on vacation. So Eric just got a $20,000 commission check. He moves his money into his profit first accounts, or again, those buckets that we talked about. Then he actually spends what's available. So he doesn't actually have $20,000. He has more like maybe $3,000 to $5,000, depending on what his percentages are, right? But he knows that he has money set aside for taxes and he has money set aside to actually pay himself. And I know this can feel like a really odd concept if you're new in the game or if you're in debt, but I promise you guys that at any income level and at any debt level, you guys can absolutely implement these techniques. They're super simple. You just have to go to the bank and open some savings account, and you absolutely can be intentional with this. So these buckets create boundaries without willpower. That is huge. Everybody starts January off going, we're gonna be different. We're gonna go to the gym and we're gonna lose weight and we're gonna. How many of us have signed up for gym memberships in the past? I know I'm guilty of this. I've signed up for gym memberships in January before and then paid for it for 2 years and then oh crap, like why did I bother wasting that money, right? This is all about healthy habits, but small chunks at a time, if that makes sense. So this does not rely on willpower. This just relies on moving money every single week. This also, buckets turn irregular income into regular pay. So what happens is you start to be able to see that you have a buffer, for example, in your owner's pay account after a while, assuming you don't take all the money every single time you move the money in there. Right now, I think I checked mine yesterday and I had about a $2,000 buffer in my owner's pay account. So what that means is that, let's say my company shuts down tomorrow, I can still pay myself at least one more pay cycle before I have to start looking at other accounts. Now, I have 13 accounts because I have things like a vault account. So I have 6 months of expenses actually set aside for myself. So again, if COVID happens, if I get sick or something like that, I can still pay myself, my staff for the next 6 months without having to worry about where that money is coming from. Now it's taken me 6 years to be able to continue to build this buffer. And I do it very intentionally because again, I still want to pay myself. I still want to be able to travel, all that, yeah.
There's some accounts that, like you have a vault that you have to go into the bank to put money so that it's a.
I use Tangerine, so I don't have to go into an account. All I have to do is the problem with, or not problem, the good thing with Tangerine is it does not allow you to utilize your funds right away, right? So it'll take a couple of days to transfer. So I typically use TD or RBC, and I transfer into Tangerine every Friday. So it takes a couple of days to go from the one account to the other. So if I'm like, oh, crap, like I really need to pay my taxes this month, I can't just take that money today and pull it out. Like I have to be mindful of where it's going. And if you guys read the Profit First book, the book does talk about this. It says like, if you are gonna have a profit account and a tax account and a vault account, like what I have, put them in a separate bank. Don't have a bank card, like remove the temptation, because if all of a sudden you need to pay your credit card today and you see $2,000 in a vault account, and you only have, say, $500 in your operating expense account, there's so much temptation to want to grab from that tax account to then help pay for that actual credit card. And so this is about removing those temptations, if that makes sense. So while I don't physically, because for me in Hagersville where I live, there's like, we have a Libro and a CIBC, and I don't bank with either of those, and I'd have to drive half an hour just to go to one of my banks. And so I really don't want to have to do that. So for me, it helps remove temptation by having it at an alternate bank. So again, you guys can look at credit unions, that kind of stuff as well. Yes.
Is that why you have separate accounts rather than, you know, you can be like pots? If you
Yes.
have like one account, so that is for that.
Yes, it is. So I actually have like a simple Excel spreadsheet. And so every Friday, what I do is I have all of my percentages of all of my bank accounts listed. So what I do is I put whatever dollar amount is in my checking account on that day, and then I split out all of my income based on the percentage. And so you guys can actually utilize the same tips. You can just go into your preferences in your bank and you can rename your bank account and you can actually put the percentage in there. But I do it every Friday just to help make sure that my money is consistently moving. Did I answer your question there?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, what would predictable pay change for you personally? Anybody want to answer that?
Less stress.
Yeah, right? Get off that freaking roller coaster, right? One more deal does not solve all your problems. I can promise you guys that. And for anybody here that's an experienced realtor, you probably know that, or ask Michael or ask somebody that's been in the business a long time. One more deal does not solve all your problems. It does not pay off your debt. I promise you that. And so it really, really helps that feast or famine cycle. Does anybody here else want to comment on how you think that that might help you? Maybe as a new agent, would you like to tell us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely envious of people that just have like a stable income, because then it would allow you to put the things into like put buckets and have different sections for your income. So it would, yeah, just take away the stress of tax season, because I'm definitely the hope person.
Right? Thank you so much for answering that. I really appreciate that. What are we doing on timing? I feel like I talk really too fast. Awesome. Okay. Perfect. So, taxes are not the problem. Surprises are. I thought this guy was a little funny. No.
He's not friendly.
I used to have a Chihuahua. They're not friendly dogs at all. It's the little man problems, little dog problems, that's for sure. But you know, again, I've spoken with so many agents where they feel like every tax season just kind of creeps up on them. Again, like Sally kind of is like, oh my gosh, let's just hope I have enough in my account at the end of the year. But it's funny how it really surprises agents when they have to owe their HST and they have to pay for their corporate or their personal tax. Unfortunately, CRA sets those deadlines. They're auditing like crazy right now. So I really encourage you guys, by the way, keep all your receipts. Work with a professional if you can. Again, Sally tells herself, I'll deal with taxes later, but later always comes too fast. Like I was saying, like, I can't believe it's been like, I think it's been 8 or 10 months since I was here last. And I'm like, so who here has implemented some technology or different tips from the last time I was here? It always comes too fast. January just reset every single year. So Eric knows his tax bucket means he never has to wonder if the money will actually be there, which is really, really nice. Sally is stressed. She's reliant upon her credit cards. She misses opportunities, and she's an emotional spender and often has tax time panic. I feel like this describes quite a few of the clients that I have worked with over the years. You know, everybody has really good intentions. And again, intentions are set kind of every January, but oftentimes because of emotional spending, we kind of fall off that wagon. And so the wonderful thing is with having a few of these accounts, you can absolutely remove some of that headache, the stress, and all of that goes along with it. I talk way too fast, guys. I feel like I'm burning through this. Okay, Eric is calm. He has clarity around his money. He feels in control. And he has confidence. He absolutely knows where his money goes and he knows where it's being spent. That is huge. So this isn't about restriction. It's about permission to actually pay yourself a healthy salary. We want you guys to do that because you are the hardest working employees your business is ever going to hire. I say that. I feel like my staff work a lot harder than I do. I just get to come and do fun things like this nowadays. But I've not always had staff, right? Like I used to be the one doing the desk stuff, doing the grind, answering the phones. And so I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat where eventually you're going to want to hire a VA or a part-time assistant or something along those lines, or maybe even have a team of agents under you. This really helps you grow and get very intentional with where all that money goes. It allows you to enjoy your commissions. So again, we're not going to have this feast and famine and emotional spending. It's absolutely going to be a more controlled spend. And this helps you stop guessing. Again, we've all looked at our credit cards. We've all looked at our bank accounts. We've all gone, yep. I know I do this every time I go to Costco. I'm like, why is that $600? Like, how does all that add up so fast, right? And it's very much the same thing. You transfer out for personal, whatever that personal looks like, you pay off debt. Somehow, again, like me, that credit card bill never seems to shrink. This helps you stop guessing where your money's going so that you can start intentionally actually saving more. I have burned through this presentation in 20 minutes. Sorry, guys. You're not alone. If you guys, I was gonna say, I always leave a lot of time for Q&A, and I know people get hungry, so I want to thank you guys so much. So again, you're not alone. We deal with this at all income levels. We work with clients that earn up to $10 million a year, and so we're very familiar with those percentages. We're offering a free 30-minute clarity call so we can help you identify where your money is feeling tight, what's really causing you the most stress, and help give you some clear next steps. So if you're interested in booking a call, you can scan the QR code on the left, or if you want, we have a crap ton of free resources on our website. So if you scan the QR code on the right, you click on resources. We have tons of YouTube videos there. We have walkthroughs on how you can actually do your own profit first assessment. So if you're working with someone and you're like, I wonder how much I'm actually taking out of the business, we actually have a walkthrough video where you guys can learn how to do that based on your own financials. We also talk in there about how you can pull the information from your bank statements and credit card statements, just in case you maybe aren't working with a professional yet. And really aren't sure where that money is going. So there's lots and lots of free resources on there. Any questions?
First of all, just to clear, I'm also gonna send the contact information to stuff and for Donna's as well. I'm gonna send it to
Yeah, I just can't stand that one. The booking call, it's not working.
Oh,
That one's a
okay.
bit
The right,
very
the
small.
right numbers.
Right one works, I just can't stand that one, but
Okay.
you can send.
Yeah.
Squares.
Yeah.
Could be. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah,
But if you're interested in booking a call, just come to me and we can absolutely set something up, or I can give you my email address. I don't do business cards anymore. I have the Blink app, but I can give you my contact information if you're interested. We can absolutely help you guys get intentional, and we can help you set up a one-year plan if you're interested, okay? No obligation, like I can't work with everybody, but if you're interested in just getting some advice and having a really awesome conversation, I'm absolutely here for that.
I have questions.
Go, Michael.
So one question is, okay, so sometimes, let's say you have over time, you get good, you start selling home stuff, these accounts
Yeah.
are like, something could be pretty massive, right?
Yes.
Taxes on that could be grand or something, right? Would you suggest to buy a like short-term GIC or something like that? Or some sort of like where you just put it in the account, like that's the safest way. Like, would you try and make a couple quick bucks off that 80?
Absolutely. And I think that's a great question. I think that all depends on personal goals. So for example, if you have a goal of buying rental property, I probably wouldn't say go throw it in a GIC. I would say throw in maybe a tax-free savings account or something and help the money grow that way so that you can pull it out and actually use that towards buying a rental property. So I really think it depends on personal goals as far as where you want to invest the money. But to be fair, if you have more than $10,000 sitting in a bank account, your money's not working for you at 0.5%. And so if you get to a point where you have that money set aside and you have at least say 3 to 6 months worth of expenses set aside, whatever that looks like for you, then we absolutely would talk about getting intentional. Or that's probably where someone like Donnie would come in, right? We would have a financial advisor come in because I am not a licensed financial advisor. So if you have a lot of money sitting in your account, we would look at ways of structuring your corporation so that you have future tax savings. You can absolutely invest inside of your company as well, so that there's lots and lots you can do if you have some cash available.
So follow-up question, it's interesting what you're saying. So legally, I'm curious if you know this, but legally, without taking out of the correct, I'm taking my correct money, putting it in a business account. Could I loan my personal self money, put it in a tax-free savings account, and have it invested, then take that money out, pay it back to the correct taxes?
I believe you could, I would talk to your accountant, just to confirm the way that that's structured is
Yeah.
appropriate to meet your long-term needs.
Well,
Again,
look at legalities.
You could do it. Imagine it's a working total that you do this every year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jennifer,
No, please feel free.
If you pull out how much money, 50 grand?
Sure.
Okay, you borrow 50 grand from your correct and put it into the account personally.
Yeah.
So that you created a shareholder loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a category. If you don't pay back that 50 grand at the end of the calendar year next year,
Yeah.
it's income that you have to report personally.
Yeah.
So if you pay it back before the end of the whatever your fiscal year end, if you don't pay it back.
Well, I got it, money that's sitting in an HST account, we started doing these buckets.
I don't know how it enters the bucket thing, but yes, you absolutely could.
Yeah, you absolutely can. I've even had clients loan their kids money out of their businesses and then charge them interest on basically like a mortgage. And we write off the interest inside the corporation each month as well. Same thing.
This is the kind of shit I need.
You need me, you need Donnie. This is why, and again, this may seem like a far off dream, guys, if you guys only have like maybe $500 in a checking account right now. But I promise you, with intention, a year from now, that can look very different for you guys, like no matter what your income level is, okay? Great question, so.
And I didn't know about profit first, really, when I was actually real estate. And this is way before credit days, this is when I was brand new, so
Yeah.
like you guys here, so brand new, and I set up during my onboarding training with the brokerage who's no longer around.
Oh, wow.
They're good, it's same brand, but they taught us to do something very similar to what you're doing right now. And from day one, I had separate accounts for all these things.
Yeah.
So HSD, income tax too. And so I would always live within my means, basically what you described. You get $20,000 check, you did make 20 grand. You actually see half, whatever your percentages are, half of that or whatever. So I would put 40% into income tax account, budgeting high. I think that HSD would be separate, always cover that. At the end of the year, I always had a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always, that always over contributed. So
And it's nice when you have that. So in profit first, we do talk about the concept of like every quarter, I pay myself out of my profit account. So I take 5% of my income every Friday. I put that in a profit bank account. So that goes from TD over to Tangerine every quarter. So like the 1st of April, I then get to transfer 50% of whatever's in there, transfer that back to me as a bonus. And then the other 50% I actually take and do like a profit share with my employees now. So they get a little bit of a bonus as well for working so hard in the company. You guys can structure it however you want. Even if you start with 1% for savings, I think 40% is fantastic if you can, if you're a sole proprietor. 40% might be a little high. I might even go 30 or 35. But this is where the intentionality behind it is fantastic. And then at the end of the year, you're like, well, now you have enough to be able to book a trip or be able to help pay off some credit card debt or whatever have you, right? And so it's really awesome to see when you get intentional with your money like that, where it really goes. I was sharing with you guys, or I think it was Kelly or somebody, well, it might have been Michael. I had my credit card copied this year, my work credit card. And so it kind of was like a blessing in disguise. I go through an exercise with my clients all the time called cut, reduce, keep. So we use 3 different highlighters. We look at what you can cut completely out of the business. So maybe you subscribe to multiple CRMs. Maybe you have Audible as well as Spotify, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We look at reducing expenses. So what value do these items bring into your business? So if you have Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that kind of thing, looking at, okay, what is the actual ROI on that? What can you maybe reduce to help that? Even things like a cell phone bill, right? Like I know like my cell phone bill was creeping up over $150 a month. And I'm like, I'm at home using my Wi-Fi most of the time. Like I don't need 18 million gigabytes of data and all this other stuff, right? And so I called Rogers and got them to reduce my bill. I've been a long time client. And so looking at what you can cut, reduce, and then what you really need to keep, right? So if you're paying, let's say for QuickBooks, but you're not using it, maybe get rid of that, right? But if you're using and paying for a CRM and you find the value in that and you're in your CRM all the time and you're updating your database, you're absolutely going to keep that CRM, right? This is not about cutting everything down to the wire. It's about reducing what you need. Again, I've saved about $7,000 already this year within the last, I think my credit card got copied in July. So since July, I saved about $7,000 just in software costs alone, because again, I subscribe to little things that are 15 to 20 bucks here and there. Free things turn into paid things eventually. And so if you can get in the habit of doing the cut, reduce, keep, or even cutting your credit card off, yeah.
I was gonna say, I did this before where I called in credit card company and said I lost my card.
Yeah.
And then it cancels all your you figure out what you can live without.
Yes.
As long as they don't send you a bill afterwards.
Yeah, no, most software companies, as soon as that credit card goes cut, like, again, I had to call TD and be like, hey, fraudulent charges. It was some travel company it was like Niagara, then Vaughan, and then Windsor, and I was like, I'm not going to these places, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I was able to cut that, and so what happens is my email has been like pinged from GoDaddy and all these other websites. It's like, don't forget to pay for this, don't forget to resubscribe.
Yeah.
You can absolutely let it go. You know what I mean? If you don't need that software, you don't have to do anything. You don't even have to go in there and cancel your credit card, because now it's a void credit card, right? And so, yeah, having something like that where you just cut your credit card off can be really, really cathartic as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I found that when we did the success of it, I found there's a lot of duplicate, like
Yes.
like Slack. For example, we got rid of Slack because we use Google Chat now.
Yeah.
And Google Chat does literally every single function that Slack does, and it's better integrated. It's in your email. There's zero advantage to Slack. I found.
Exactly.
And we were paying for Slack every month. I was like, and there's so many of these little things. There's no
Yeah.
reason to have
Like I pay for G Suite, so I have Gmail, but I don't like Google Form. I like Google Docs, but I like Google Forms, but I hate Google Sheets and Google whatever the Word version is. I'm a Microsoft babe. But I hate Microsoft, their email. I don't like it at all. So I was paying for both platforms. So as much as it hurt, I actually cut Google out and we moved over to Microsoft. It's a progress. I'm learning how to use the inbox. I think for me, it was just like old habits die hard. But same thing, you have storage with Gmail, you have storage with Microsoft. You probably pay for OneDrive and. I have literally gone through credit card statements with people, like on these 30-minute calls. We've saved them hundreds of dollars in a month, just because they had Dropbox and ShareFile and OneDrive and. Again, if you're subscribing to something but you're not paying for it, like, please feel free to cut it out of your life. Like I said, you guys often get signed up for free things turn into paid things. And those cost a lot of money at the end of the year.
I think even Kevin O'Leary calls up his cell phone company internet provider every 2 years and renegotiates.
Right, and I know, like, I've been with Rogers for probably 15 years. I pay for my cell phones outright, so I never go on contracts, because I've actually worked it out. If I just go to Apple and buy a new cell phone every 21 months, I'm actually saving more money than actually doing one of those 2-year contracts or 3-year contracts. And so looking at doing something like that, can you downgrade your phone? Can you save for it? I save for a phone every couple of years. Luckily mine, I think I'm with an iPhone 13, so I'm probably due for a new one, but it works. I don't care. Like,
Those intentional habits actually spread through your whole habit.
They do. And the nice thing is, like, it creeps into your personal life. So it's kind of like you really get to see the value of building this money. And so I've had clients implement this in their personal life. I had one client out of a Remax in Stony Creek. He has 20 personal accounts. I'm like, it's probably a bit of overkill. And he's like, no, I get clarity from it and I know exactly every month where it goes. His wife is, she loves to get her hair done and her nails done. And again, this is not about shaming. We're not saying you can't go do these things. So he moves money into that account for her. He's like, that's how much you can afford this month. You know what I mean? Without taking away from trips with their kids and without taking away from maybe, buying a new house or whatever their goals are. So keep in mind that you want to start simple. You don't want to automatically go into 20 accounts or 13 accounts, but starting with those 5 foundational accounts can really make a difference for you and your business. That's for sure. Awesome. Any other questions?
So
No.
I definitely. So I want to know more about Jennifer and what the process is on onboarding a client. Like what is the product offering? So cash flow management.
Yeah. So we offer one-to-one coaching. We also offer group coaching. So if you're interested in learning how to have an actual 1-year rollout, we can absolutely coach you through that. We can guide you through an implementation plan. This is kind of like starting off going to the gym in January, you're absolutely gonna get further along and you're gonna get better results at the end of the year if you work with a personal trainer over just kind of going in and hitting that gym yourself. And so we do a myriad of things. Oftentimes I come here going, let's do coaching, and then everybody's like, we need help with bookkeeping. So we're here to help with that as well. If you need that foundational piece put together, we're absolutely, we can work with you guys for bookkeeping services as well as one-on-one coaching. Or if you're just interested in getting a money plan, we can absolutely help you work on that as well. So that would be like a one-time fee. You work with us, you get a couple Zoom calls, and then over the course of the year, we check in with you to make sure you're getting your targets. Thank you for the question, Nadia.
So it's profit first,
Profit first
That's
coaching
here.
kind of
Yeah,
thing,
got it.
yeah, absolutely. And even when it comes to bookkeeping, we ideally love to work with our clients and help them get more intentional in their books as well. So we often will coach people inside of bookkeeping packages too.
see you afterwards. for sure.
Okay,
Yeah, I want you to-
absolutely.
I see it all, I want you to meet.
Awesome, fantastic. All right, any other questions, guys?
Amazing, thank you so
All right,
much.
well, thank you very much for having me.